Hi guys, Alex Benda here, and I'm here because a lot of people want to know about what I do for the business and how we got here and just kind of my thinking and the fact that I love helping people start businesses or follow their dreams. I don't really like calling them businesses. It's your passion and we help make it a reality. So that's what I like to do, and I'm going to start today with, you have an idea, now what? What are you going to do about it? So the first thing I'm going to recommend is vomit. Vomit it all on the page. Take everything that you have about your idea, if you have an idea, and write it down. I want shirts to look like this. I want people to think about my brand, and I want them to feel this type of feeling, or I want this problem to be solved so no one ever has to think about it, and when they think about that problem, they know my name. So I want it so when I blow my nose, they think tissue paper. That kind of correlation. Whatever you want your brand to be, write it down. How people are going to feel about it, the colors that either inspire you about it, or the look of it, or the goal of your entire idea. Write everything down, because right now you're in the most raw stages. You're the closest to that idea without having all this extra input or people telling you what you should do with your idea. Right now you can take that idea and get your thoughts about it down and then start chipping away at what's good and what's bad. So this leads me to the second thing you're going to do, which is give it a timeline. So all those ideas you have about your business, you might not even have a business name, but you know you're going to need a name before you open your store or you start selling. So take all the ideas you just wrote down and figure out what needs to happen in what order. And at the same time, you're going to realize some things are going to compete with each other. You might have said, I want people to be happy about this brand, or I want this type of color for this project, but this type of color for this idea, or whatever conflicting ideas you might have, and that's where you start chipping away. Well, this isn't really feasible, or right now I realize this might not be good for tomorrow. I can't do both of these things, but I'm going to start in this area, and then we'll expand into this second area. So you're going to start making compromises with those ideas, and that's where a timeline really starts helping you figure out, okay, this is what needs to happen and these steps for this goal to be achieved. And that's the really great thing about a timeline, is you can start visualizing your road to success. Well, you know where you want to get. Now you just have to put all the steps to get there. The second reason you're going to want to do a timeline is you're going to start developing these things called SMART goals. And some people have different acronyms, but you'll hear this come up a lot, but it means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And that kind of incorporates this timeline. So specific, you can say, I want to be a big business. Well, how big is big? Is big one person? Is big 100 people? 10 million people? How big is big? So you need to be specific. Measurable. Can you measure how big is big? Well, I can measure 10 people. So if I have an idea and say, I want by next week, Tuesday, I have 3 designs and they're going to use these colors. It's specific, 3 designs. It's measurable, these designs, these color. Is it attainable? Can I do 3 designs? Well, yeah, I can. Is it relevant? Is it relevant to what I'm doing? Is it important to the core of my business? Yeah, it's designing. And timely. I gave it a week. So that means all those goals are met. I'm less likely to going to ignore it than say I want to do more designs in the future. So all of a sudden I'm putting pressure on myself to achieve these goals, and you'll find that when you do that, you're going to be more successful overall. Number 3 is don't freak out. Your idea is good. Calm down. McDonald's didn't invent the hamburger, but they sell more hamburgers than anyone else. Heinz Ketchup didn't invent ketchup, but good luck finding more than 2 other brands on the shelves that sell ketchup. The reason is they did it better than anyone else, and they didn't start doing it better than everyone else until they were way into the process. So, you're just starting out. You're probably not going to have the world's best burger or the number 1 selling burger in the world. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because eventually you'll get there. So, there's a lot of learning you're going to have happen before you reach this dream or your goal. And you can't know what you don't know. So, I really recommend start. Don't freak out. There's other companies that are way successful that weren't the first. They weren't doing it the greatest for a while, but because of what they learned and they knew that vision or what they wanted and they didn't let it go, they were able to get there. Number 4 relates to you and your mindset. No excuses. I don't care if there's walls in your way. Build a ladder, get over it. Dig a tunnel, get under it. Find a path, go around it. There is no reason that you should not be having exactly what you want or the life you want. Now, you might have to sweat more. You might have to give up meals. You might have to stay up late. But if you're really passionate about where you want to go in life, you're going to get there. And every excuse you make is you finding a reason why you can't do it. I take every excuse I have and I solve a problem. Like, what are 3 ways that I could make this so it's not an excuse? And so it's like, well, what if we don't have any sales? Well, what are 3 ways that I can avoid that? Well, I'm going to make sure I talk to people. Maybe I'm going to sell before I make the product. Or I'm going to think about things this way. If I put a gun to your head and say, hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. And I know that's a little extreme, but if you really think that there's a gun and that your only option is to do this, you'll find that those excuses quickly go out the door. Because your option is failure, which is death. Think that way, you'll find all of a sudden there's all these new little opportunities, these tiny little glimpses that you weren't seeing before, where you're like, I could really take that and turn it into something bigger. Gun to head mentality. No excuses. Number 5 is build a team. You're going to need someone there along the way that you can bounce ideas off of that aren't a crucial part of your business or your idea, that you can just talk to and not bore the same person every day or bore your significant other. Find someone who relates to what you're trying to do and who's going to give you encouragement. It's not easy. A lot of the businesses I've tried to start, I've let go because I didn't bring anyone in on it. And ultimately, I've let it go because it was only me involved or me invested in it. But when I start bringing other people into my ideas, and when I start letting it go and they say, hey, well, what about that idea? Aren't we working on that? All of a sudden, you feel like you owe them and you have to work more on it. And so bring people in, build your team, start talking about your ideas to people and find out who you can really trust and bring them on board, so you're not just, if you don't do it, you've only let yourself down. Try to avoid that because ultimately it's just another fail-safe. Point number 6 is slow is good. And what I mean by that is that if you hit small goals, every day you do 1 mile, no matter rain or shine, you do that amount of work and you get to the end, and some days are going to be harder than others. But if every day you're moving forward a consistent amount, you're going to get there. But if every day you do 20 miles in one day and then you rest for a week, and then you do another 10 miles one day and you rest for another week, that's not sustainable, and your business isn't going to be able to survive off of that. It's slow, loving nurture that is going to ultimately bring you success. Do a video a week or do an idea a week and set timelines and goals that are consistent and reoccurring. And that is how ultimately the biggest secret is slow is good. Small goals eventually will lead you to big successes. So that's it. If you like this video and like the idea of these videos, hit the like button so I know to keep doing them. If you don't, hit the dislike button and we'll try to figure out a better way to do them, or if I put them on my own channel or something. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or help with your own businesses you want help with, you can message me. I'd love to talk it out and see if maybe a fresh pair of eyes can help you out. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys soon.